Hello and welcome to Scientifically Speaking. Today we're going to be talking about climate scientists and how a climate scientist has admitting exaggerating the impact of global warming on Californian wildfires to get his research published. So what we're going to go through today is what a climate scientist needs to do to get his paper published. So this is from the Daily Mail. The climate scientist admits to focusing solely on global warming in paper about United States wildfires and ignoring other key aspects just to get published. Patrick T. Brown claims studies about climate change are rejected by scientific journals if they do not support certain narratives, and they favour distorted research which overstates danger. He says his research article, which was published last week in Nature and titled "Climate Warming Increases Extreme Daily Wildfire Growth Risk in California," focused exclusively on climate change and intentionally ignored other key factors. The US state has suffered extreme wildfires in recent years which have led to loss of life and property. Writing in the Free Press, Dr. Brown said, "I knew not to try to quantify key aspects other than climate change in my research because it would dilute the story that prestigious journals like Nature want to tell." Explaining why he did this, Dr. Brown, a lecturer at Johns Hopkins University in the US, said it is critically important for scientists to be published in high-profile journals. These are the pictures of the fires, blah, blah. And the editors of these journals have made it abundantly clear, both by what they publish and what they reject, that they want climate papers that support certain pre-approved narratives, even when those narratives come at the expense of a broader knowledge for society. Dr. Brown claimed his journals approach climate change research in the way the press focused so intently on climate change as the root cause of wildfires, including the devastating fires in Hawaii last month, which killed 115 people, which incidentally, many elites are now in Maui buying up as much land as they can, which kind of is nasty just in the thought of it. Back to the article. However, he pointed out research that showed 80% of wildfires were started by humans. Now, many people are saying it's climate change. Some moronic people are saying that there's two invisible suns in the sky, not including our own sun. All of this is obviously nonsense because this climate scientist is now pointing out that 80% of wildfires were either started deliberately by humans or accidentally by humans, from arson to leaving a campfire going. He said, to put it bluntly, climate science has become less about understanding the complexities of the world and more about serving as a kind of Cassandra, urgently warning the public about the dangers of climate change. Now, if there's people out there who don't know what Cassandra is or was, I know it from a story of Remo Williams and the Master of Sinanju. These are books from the 60s. And in the book, it was America versus Russia, blah, blah, blah. And the Cassandra was a bomb. It was a world-destroying bomb, and the United States only made one of them, and it was hidden somewhere. The Russians found out where it was hidden. They went to where Cassandra was, and Remo and Chun, the Master of Sinanju, Chun changed the big plate on top of the plinth that covered Cassandra. And it said on the top of the plinth, Cassandra. And using his fingers, he changed the metal shape at the end of Cassandra to include two Roman numerals. He beat it into the metal top, so that when the Russians arrived, it no longer said Cassandra, and then they knew that this was the only danger. It said Cassandra 2. And so the Russians knew they still couldn't attack because now there was more than one Cassandra. So the Cassandra here is warning the public about the dangers of nuclear war. But this Cassandra here is warning the public about the dangers of climate change. So it's propaganda. Dr. Magdalena Skipper, editor-in-chief of Nature, which is based in London, said the journal did not have a preferred narrative when it comes to science. You see, it's a woman, and women are easily led, easily fooled, and can be taught to believe any old kind of nonsense. She said it had an expectation that researchers had used the most appropriate data, methods and results, adding that to deliberately not do so, at best, is highly irresponsible. But then she just said the researchers must use the most appropriate data. And that can then be split into not good or bad, but what helps our narrative. So the appropriate data is about global warming and not arson. So she is part of this problem too. Dr. Skipper claimed when reviewers asked Dr. Brown to include other factors which causes wildfires, he argued against it. She said, "We are now carefully considering the implications of his stated actions. They reflect poor research practices and are not in line with the standards we set for our journal." Now, they just come out and said, "Oh, no, we want to hear about arson." But this doctor, the guy who did the paper, Dr. Brown, he already knew they would have rejected it. So they've come out saying, "We do accept these papers, and what we think he's done is really bad because he should have told us," is just more hypocritical nonsense from Dr. Magdalena Skipper. She's now blaming him because she wouldn't produce the article if it contained arson. But she has to blame him that he had to con his way in. So it's Dr. Brown's fault and not the journal Nature. So it's just more nonsense that goes on in the world. Basically, now they're going to take everything from everybody and implement many things that will destroy the human race. Thanks very much. My name is Lee. I follow the Christ. And it's a fearful future. Thanks a lot. Bye.